back. Keep your eye on that grand old flag.
Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the 54th Massachusetts Regiment Honor Guard and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever peace.
We now invite Giselle Sterling, United States Marine Corps OEF veteran, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colonel Lawrence Baser, Joint Forces State Chaplain, Massachusetts National Guard, will now deliver the invocation.
For those who freely choose, please join me in prayer. Our ever-loving Creator, we thank you for this morning as we come together for the joyous opportunity to honor our women veterans of Massachusetts. Women have valiantly served in our nation's battles from the Revolutionary War with influences such as Margaret Corbin and Mary McCauley. Women's influence and impact impacted our military life, and they have touched our services through the dedication as they have led, sustained, and supported our country during times of peace. May the deeds of our Massachusetts women veterans always inspire needed generations of more women to serve, to defend, and protect our great land. God bless our women veterans. God bless the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. God bless the United States of America, and let us all say, Amen. Amen.
Honorees and distinguished guests, thank you for being here to celebrate the contributions of thousands of women veterans who have served our nation from the Revolutionary War to our most recent conflicts. Today's women here represent the almost 32,000 women veterans in Massachusetts, and this celebration is for each one of them. The women veterans who have paved the way before us, and most importantly, those who have fallen in the name of freedom. In remembrance, we will now begin a candle lighting ceremony for all fallen sisters. We have 5 candles to represent the 5 branches of the military, and the colors signify each meaning. As we light these 5 candles in honor of our fallen heroes, we light one for memory, one for courage, one for love, one for world peace, and one for grief. I now invite 5 women veterans, one from each branch, to come forward for the lighting of the candles.
Representing the U.S. Air Force, the blue candle is their memory. The times we laughed, the times we cried, the care and joy they gave.
Representing the United States Army, the yellow candle represents our courage to confront our sorrows, to comfort and empower each other, to change our lives.
Representing U.S. Navy, the white candle is for world peace. As long as there is a white candle lit, we are reminded of the hope that one day the world could live without war, where no serviceman or woman dies for freedom's sake.
Representing the Coast Guard, the purple candle represents our grief The pain of losing them is heart-wrenching. It reminds us of the depth of our love and the depth of our bravery.
Representing the United States Marine Corps, the red candle is the light of love. Day by day, we cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for them. We thank them for the gifts their lives have brought each of us.
Thank you, ladies. At this time, I would like to introduce the Secretary of the Massachusetts Department of Veteran Services. Secretary Coleman Nee joined the department in 2007 and has been working tirelessly on...
Thank you so much. I want to thank Superintendent Paul Barabani from the Holyoke Soldiers Home for coming as well. I know we have a number of recipients of the Outstanding Woman Veteran of the Year Award here as well, including our latest recipient, Eileen Murillo. Thank you so much for being here as well, ma'am. This is an absolute great event. I love this event. I'm going to be very brief in my comments because I have the great pleasure and honor of introducing the General, who's far more impactful and has far more important things to say than I do. But, you know, when we look at the statistics of women vets, you know, we look a lot at data at the Department of Veteran Services. And the fact is that women are the fastest growing segment of our veterans population, above all. And we have an obligation and a sacred duty to ensure that you, our sisters, get the exact same level of respect, treatment, and benefits and services that your brothers are entitled to and that your brothers take advantage of. And that's really what I think this Women Veterans Network is all about. It is great to recognize the works that you do in your service, but more importantly, Viviana is in the trenches every single day fighting and ensuring that you and the Women's Veterans Network Steering Committee is fighting every day to ensure that you get the benefit services, that the legislation, that your voice is heard. Honor in the Steering Committee. Is the Steering Committee, could they stand up? Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. There are more than 200,000 women on active duty military today. And it makes up, in the enlisted ranks, about 14.2% of the entire force. So without women in active duty ranks today, this country is less safe. Absolutely. And we want to make sure that they're honored and that they're supported and that they're given the best care and treatment that they can receive when they come back. Part of this is also empowering women to, you know, take on roles that perhaps they haven't in the past. And that's something that I really wanted to just make sure I mentioned today. Earlier today, I had the honor and the privilege of being witness to a historic event in our Commonwealth. We have two soldiers' homes, outstanding locations. Superintendent Barabani is here, runs one of the finest soldiers' homes in the country out in Holyoke, Massachusetts. But our soldiers' home in Chelsea, Massachusetts is the second oldest home in the nation. It is 132 years old. And until this morning, that institution has been led by men. But as of this morning, it was my honor and privilege to watch the governor swear in Colonel Cheryl Poppy as the new superintendent of the Chelsea Soldiers Home, the first female superintendent in the 132-year history of that home. It is now my honor to introduce, at this time, it's really my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you General Scott Rice. General, thank you.
Thanks. You know, we talk about heroism and soldiers, airmen, military members, warriors in our midst, and you never know when somebody's or some situation's going to ask you to be a hero. You just don't prepare for that. And then when the event goes by, you look at yourself, some people do inward and say, I'm not a hero, but you know when you're in the presence of heroes, you feel warm, you feel happy, you feel good. You really feel good. Massachusetts has the best veteran services in the country, which means in the world. And I'd like to say something that General Mike Mosley brought together for all of us, and it kind of solidified how we feel, how we think, how we look at being an airman and a warrior. And that's the Airman's Creed. And it goes like this. I am an American warrior. I am an American airman. I have answered my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, guardian of freedom and justice, my nation's sword and shield, its sentry and avenger. I defend the country with my life. I am an American airman, wingman, leader, warrior. I will never leave an airman behind. I will never falter, and I will not fail. I am an American airman. Thank you very much.
And I can tell you from our next speaker, we know that women make the best leaders in our political circles as well. Senate President Therese Murray has been an outstanding advocate and a champion for veterans on all issues, but most importantly, women veterans. And it's my privilege to introduce to you at this time, Senate President Therese Murray.
Thank you for those very kind words, and congratulations to the honorees today. I'm very pleased to be here with you to honor you. It is our responsibility, it is our duty, and it is our honor to serve you in the best way that we can. Here in the Commonwealth, as Coleman has said, we are a leader in providing services for housing, education, jobs, financing, food, and health care for our military and veterans. Thank you all for all your service.
It is my honor now to introduce to you the chairman of the Veterans and Federal Affairs Committee on the Senate side, Senator Mike Rush. Is Lieutenant Rush of the United States Navy.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I'm Senator Mike Rush, and what better way to celebrate our female veterans than to be here in the Memorial Hall, the historic State House that was built specifically to honor our veterans and our military and their families. We have the best veterans benefits in the Commonwealth of here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, better than the other 49 states. All right, so you've heard that today. Leaders like Senate President Murray, my chairman in the House, Chairman Carlo Basil, the other legislators and elected officials who are here. Today we gather to remember and honor our female service women, veterans and their families, and it certainly merits the recognition that we pay. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
It is my honor now to introduce to you the House Chairman of the Veterans and Federal Affairs Committee, Representative Carlo Basil. And he went out and passed a home modification bill, which I'm pleased to say we've been able to put together with the Mass Rehabilitation Commission. It's my honor to introduce to you Chairman Carlo Basil.
Good morning. It's my honor to be here. The point is, it's you that have the vision to help us, to give you the services that you need. I've never had the honor of serving. So this is the small part that I could thank you in doing and getting you services that you rightfully deserve. 11% of female services members are single parents. Over 12.5% of women return home from deployment facing divorce. Over 156 women have lost their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. More than 850 women have been wounded in action. We have roughly between 26,000 and 33,000 of the veteran population here in Massachusetts. So we need to do more, and I thank each and every one of you for your service, and God bless you all.
Now it's my honor to introduce someone who represents Colonel Hall, and actually nominated Colonel Hall for this prestigious award, and Representative Elizabeth Poirier from Attleboro. Representative, thank you.
Thank you very much. I am honored to be here, but especially I'm delighted to be here today for Colonel Julie Hall. Anyone who knows Julie recognizes that she merits special recognition. Only someone as driven and energized as Julie could go from airman to full bird colonel. Her primary goal, besides her family, was to be a role model for women. Knowing Julie Hall, I cannot think of anyone more deserving of a special recognition as an outstanding woman veteran, as she continuously promoted women's causes and issues. If you should want to meet anyone more dedicated than Julie Hall, you will have to search far and wide. And I'm so honored to be here for her today and her wonderful family. Congratulations, Julie.
Thank you, Representative. So I'm going to turn this back over to Sergeant Marcotte. But before we do that, just wanted to say, you know, there's a lot of hands in this event, but there's one real leader, one dedicated NCO that actually makes this happen, and that's Viviana Marcotte. And can we all give Viviana a round of applause, please? Thank you for all you do. So Lieutenant Murillo, Colonel Gil Bennett, Colonel Majors, or Captain Majors, sorry, Colonel Hall, you received the Deborah Sampson Award. Deborah Sampson obviously is our official heroine of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a combat wounded veteran of the Revolutionary War, and I can't think of better choices than you. All of you represent that strength, that dignity, that honor, that patriotism that Deborah Sampson represented over 200 years ago. And it's an honor to serve with you. It's an honor to serve under you, and your leadership is outstanding. And I know the Deborah Sampson spirit is here today and smiling, knowing that such dedicated, proud, and professional people bear the name of her award. Thank you for your service. Thank you to all my sisters, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Nate. At this time, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Sergeant Cassandra Bennis. Cassandra was born and raised in Newton, Massachusetts. She joined the Army in August of 2006 and became a combat medic. In 2007, she was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado under the 212th Brigade Combat Team, 2nd Infantry Division. She deployed to Iraq in 2007, where she earned her combat medic badge, as well as multiple awards for the treatment and aid to soldiers and civilians while under combat fire in many hostile situations throughout deployment. She participated in security and EOD missions, as well as female search raids. During raids and after Iraq, she was deployed again in 2009 to Afghanistan. While participating in weekly missions in the hostile region of the Korengal Valley, she was injured on January 26, 2010, after a multiple RPG attack on her vehicle, and was awarded the Purple Heart. After her deployment, she was transferred to the Walter Reed Army Medical Center, working for the hospital's chain of command during the historic closure of the hospital. She separated from the Army in 2011, and in 2012, she gave birth to her beautiful daughter, Chloe, and moved back to Massachusetts. That same year, she was also diagnosed with a rare disease and is presently undergoing intensive treatment at VA Boston. She is a student at Mount Wachusett Community College pursuing her degree in nursing, and her hope is to bring this disease into remission, continue her education, and with the help of her soon-to-be husband, raise a beautiful daughter, and please help me welcome Sergeant Cassandra Bennis.
I think my little one's not too happy that she sees me up here. Thank you, and thank you, Viviana, for this. This was truly a privilege and an honor to speak here today. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And I want to say a little special thank you to my fiance, Billy. We're actually getting married in 2 days, and through the wedding planning and preparing for the speech, I'm pretty sure I have been a little unbearable and insane and crazy, but thank you for putting up with me. Like Viviana had said, I joined the military in 2006, about 5 years after high school. I dabbled a little bit in college, and I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really motivated to go to college. Something that had always appealed to me was joining the military. I don't know if I had watched G.I. Jane too many times, or I don't know, it was just something that I'd always wanted. So with the help of a friend who was in ROTC, we went down to the recruiting station and I enlisted. I had very supportive, shocked and surprised, but very supportive and proud parents. And they have been supportive and proud from the get-go. So off I went to basic, and I went down to Fort Sam Houston afterwards to be a medic. And immediately I knew that the Army was for me. We just fit like puzzle pieces. I loved it, and I loved being a soldier. And for me, it was easy. They told you where to be, when to be, and how to be, and it was easy, and I loved it. I loved being a soldier, and I loved being a medic. I left there, and I went to my first duty station on Fort Carson, Colorado, and anybody that's been there will know that it's an absolutely beautiful post. Shortly after that, I was only there for about a month and a half, and I went to Iraq. I was deployed to Baghdad. I spent a whole whopping 3 days with my battalion. It was a support battalion, and I was to be a medic inside their hospital. When my first sergeant came to me and told me that one of our sister battalions, an all-male infantry unit, had lost quite a few male medics. They didn't have any other male medics to take from other battalions, so they were going to try and see what would happen if they put a female in, and I was going to be their guinea pig, their test subject. So off I went, and I joined 212 Infantry Regiment in Baghdad, and I was excited. I thought this was my chance. Not too many females get to actually be a line medic. So I was excited, I was happy, and then it kind of settled in. Crap, I'm gonna be a line medic. And I was scared, and I was scared. And not only was I scared because I was going to be on the front line, I realized that since the beginning of time, society has taught us that combat and war was not the place for women, that we were needed behind the lines to tend to our men, our soldiers, and we weren't supposed to be on the front line. So with that being said, you can imagine the welcoming that I received. It was not a happy welcoming, not a very warm one at that. I spent the first couple weeks eating by myself. No one really talked to me. It was a talk only if needed to, and you can imagine the awkwardness being on mission and no one will talk to their medic. You would have thought that the bombed out, burnt out, bullet-riddled buildings and the stench of burning flesh would have bothered me more. But the fact that your guys won't talk to you and don't trust you, that hurt more. Until about 2.5 weeks in, and I received my first casualties outside the wire. And still a little hard to talk about, but it was a bloody day. And unfortunately, it took the life of somebody else for me to earn a lot of trust from my guys. And from that day on, I became Doc. And anybody will know in the military, that Doc is not a nickname that's just given to anybody. You need to earn that. And that's what I did. I gained the nickname Doc. And not only did I gain trust, but I gained friends, I gained protectors, and I gained brothers. I gained family. And that's exactly what all those guys became, was family. It was like having a couple hundred older brothers. And through more firefights and explosions, blood, tears, we grew closer and closer. And we came home, and I got a lot of pats on the backs, a lot of congratulations, and wow, you did a lot, you did it, you were a female on the line. And I didn't care about that. I didn't care about the recognition, you know. I did my job, that's what I cared about, and any good medic will know that that's all you care about, is doing the best that you can. So that was my first deployment. My second deployment went a little bit differently, and for personal reasons as well, but I like to add in this fun story. I remember my first mission out in Afghanistan, and our captain was calling roll call for trucks, and they were calling names, and I noticed a bunch of new faces within 212. Again, I was attached to them, and someone called out, Corporal Huxama. I was like, what? Couldn't pronounce the name, and I kept asking to my left and right, how do you pronounce that? They're like, don't worry about it, you know, just know the face. But I'm glad I learned it, and I learned his name because I'm marrying him in 2 days, so. That would have been awkward. And like I said, this war went a little bit different for me. And on January 26, 2010, it was a Tuesday, and we were en route to a FOB outside the Korengal Valley when our lead truck got attacked. And we came under multiple RPGs, and that was my truck. And I know it was only a blip, it was a matter of minutes, but it still felt like it lasted a lifetime. And we took multiple RPGs, including one between myself and my driver, one in between my TC and driver, and my gunner took one immediately to his turret, and he came tumbling down pretty much like a rag doll into my arms, along with a big puff of smoke and a lot of fire, and we could not see anything. So I used my, as my platoon sergeant would say, my out of regulation nail length, and I scraped along his body, and I found the blood, and I stopped it. I held him close, and we waited, and like I said, it felt like forever, but it must have been minutes, and it stopped. We were all medevac to Bagram, and we had a short recovery after that, and it's still a hard thing to talk about, and I don't go into a lot of detail because I'm wearing mascara right now, and that would be bad. And it's something I don't talk about a lot to anybody. It's very difficult. When I find a veteran that's gone through the same kind of things, you know, it's comforting. It's almost like finding another warm blanket. You don't even have to speak, really. You share a couple of things, and you just know. You know, you make a connection. It's difficult to explain. People ask me all the time, what happened? What were your injuries? You know, I usually just smile and say that I'm alive. And mostly what people need to know is that a female combat medic was deployed, and I roughed it out with the guys, got blown up, got injured, and I still kicked butt and did my job. You know, you ask any one of my guys, and I guarantee you that they would say that they wouldn't care anymore if they had a male or female. They just want someone that'll keep them alive. And then when stuff hits the fan, they know what to do. And that female can save a life and keep up just as any male could. And I feel like I contributed to the start of something bigger within the military. Something that is growing and growing as we speak. And the military is changing drastically every day. Women are now in fields and areas once not allowed to be in. and they are testing out the waters and advancing successfully. And as time goes on, advances and successes will be made in the military by women, many military women in this room. But we all have to stop and think, will we be able to say the same thing about the women veterans in the civilian aspect? When a female gets out of the military, will she be taking 10 giant steps behind? Will the progress made by the military and everyone in the military have been for nothing? The role of the female soldier has made leaps and bounds, and I'm so proud to say that I've participated in that and I've helped that. That's why it would hurt and it would bother and frustrate me to see no progression within the civilian aspect. The veterans world is well equipped to deal and handle the male veteran. However, the hallways in VA hospitals will soon be filled with more and more and more female veterans, and we need to prepare for that. They already have an outstanding medical treatment facility, and it would be a shame for females to go there and not be able to get the same care that is provided for everybody else. Right now, there is a female soldier somewhere in Afghanistan. She's getting ready to go out on mission. She's preparing her truck, or she might be already out there. She's putting her life on the line every day for us, for me and you. She's adapting to the adversity of being one of few, or maybe the only female out there. And she knows the difficulties and the challenges that could face her on any particular day. She knows that she may not come home. But what she doesn't know is that she is sick right now. She doesn't know that when she gets home, back to the States, and she takes off that uniform, that there is a whole new set of difficulties and a whole new set of challenges that she has to face. And being a veteran can be challenging enough in itself. She doesn't know that being a female veteran is even more challenging. She doesn't know how to get the right doctors, and she doesn't know how to get the right treatments. She doesn't know how to get the right support. We owe her all of these things. Me and you, everybody in this room, we owe her those basic things. And every day she has put on that uniform and she has fought for this country. It didn't matter the kind of day she was having, the problems she faced. She went out there and she continued to fight and not give up for me and for you. We owe it to her to not give up for her. We owe her proper care and treatment, not only through medical care, but through every other means possible, so that when she goes to get a hairpiece or a wig because she's going through chemotherapy, that she doesn't hear, we don't have a protocol set up for women, or we don't have many women, so this hasn't happened very many times, or I just don't know. When you are sick, you have days that you are living in the bathroom or that it's hard to walk. Days that you feel scared or hopeless. You need every ounce of support that you can get, every ounce of love and help you can get. Whether that support is putting on this wig and looking in the mirror, and even just for a second, for a minute, you see yourself as not being sick, and as a beautiful woman, you have no idea how powerful that is. Even more powerful than medication itself. I'm lucky that I also have the support of my family, an amazing family sitting over here, that I don't know what I'd do without them. My fiance has been the most amazing patient, friend, and caretaker. I'm so lucky to have him. And on those days when I heard those excuses presented to me, or when I currently heard them, I turned to my rock. I turned to my fiance and I lean on him. But I can't help and think about the women that don't have that. They don't have that rock. They don't have that support system. The veterans that don't have the family. We need to be their family, and we need to be their support system. We need to ask ourselves, what can we do? What can I do? What can you do? So that that soldier right now does not hear when she gets home those same excuses. That she is given every opportunity and every chance to focus on herself, to give her strength. I have a loving and amazing family, a family that I'm beyond lucky to have. I have had an amazing, amazing military career, and it was filled with great experiences and great memories, and some not good experiences and not so good memories. I'm a very proud participant in the progression of a female soldier's role in combat. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. We experience and we learn things so that we can turn around and teach them to others. And that is exactly what I plan to do to my daughter, who's passed out in Nana's arms right now. My hope is that she will learn to fight adversity such as I did, and that she believes that she is just as good and smart and courageous and capable as anyone else. And I hope that she will learn that if she wants something bad enough, and if she believes in something passionately enough, to go after it and to never quit. I hope that she will learn that there are bumps in the road, and it's okay to fall down. It's okay to cry, and it's okay if someone tries to take you down, because you, everybody else in this room, has the strength and the ability and the courage to get back up and keep going. I was a proud female soldier. I'm now a proud mother and a proud female veteran. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. The moment I got on the phone with Cassandra, I just felt this immediate connection with her, not only because we both met our husbands in Iraq, but just her spirit, and you just embody why we do what we do for women veterans. You are truly a hero, and thank you, and to your fiance for your service. We love you. I just wanted to present Cassandra with a small wedding gift on behalf of the Women Veterans Network. We wish you both all the happiness in the world. We are now a part of the program where we recognize the 2004 recipient of the Deborah Sampson Award. The award criteria are the nominees' military service, awards, pioneering efforts for women in the military, personal sacrifices the nominee has endured while serving, and accomplishments towards the enhancements of the lives of women veterans through community service and participation in veteran organizations. The award selection committee faces a very difficult challenge each year in selecting the honoree. All nominees that were submitted have made significant contributions not only within the military, but also within their own communities as well. And I would like to ask if there are any nominees in the audience to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your service, and we also have certificates of appreciation after the ceremony for you. At this time, I'm going to ask Captain Mary Jo Majors, the Deborah Sampson recipient of 2010, to come forward and introduce our 2014 winner this year, Colonel Hall.
I have to do this. I'm a nurse. You got Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful day to celebrate women veterans in Massachusetts, and I am so proud to be a woman veteran from Massachusetts, and my mayor will tell you from North Cambridge, and to be here with you. But it's been said by others of those that serve that those who work the hardest and give the most are the quietest about what they've done, and that's called honor. And they inspire the rest of us, and that's called pride. So I want to thank all of you who have served, all of you who have supported us for everything you've done, and that's my Veterans Day wish to you. Colonel Hall, today is a celebration and recognition of your career, your outstanding military career, and also your contributions in service over self in all the communities where you lived, you worked, and adopted. You can all read Colonel Hall's brief summary of her distinguished career and accomplishments in your program. However, you may not be aware that she served here in the local area December 2000 to July 2003 in the 66th Medical Squadron at Hanscom Air Force Base. And I know there's some Air Force men and women who are here today, and probably from Hanscom, that would like to welcome you back. I also realized when I was reading your resume that I believe we served together in the Pentagon. In the late 90s, I was assigned to the Office of Secretary of Defense for Reserve Affairs. And we're a couple in the room that get to wear this lovely medallion, which you have to earn. You cannot have a photo taken in it unless you've been there a year. And if you leave before the year is out, they take it away from you. So we've earned this. So I worked for Reserve Affairs, Colonel Hall worked for Health Affairs, and you can imagine how many times we probably crossed paths in briefings, giving briefings to our service chiefs and others. So we have to walk down memory lane when this is over. But it just reinforces to all of us what a small world the military is, and it gets smaller every day. So I tell everybody, best be kind and courteous to those you meet, because you don't know when you're going to meet them again. As I was thinking about how I could summarize your career to the military for the audience today, these words came very easily to me. You are a Massachusetts-born resident, a returning resident to Attleboro. You appreciate being called someone from Boston, and you're proud to be from the first state to fight for independence. You're a single mom who adopted her brother's son when he was a young child to raise him, to call him family, and now is the proud mom of a private first class in the Army Cavalry serving in Fairbanks, Alaska. You're a pioneer for women in the U.S. Air Force. You served in a time when there were fewer women serving, and you served especially in that role in different parts of the world. You're a volunteer who shows service over self to 5 different veterans organizations in your area. You're a mentor, a role model, an advisor, especially to youth. You're an educator and a healthcare executive, an advocate of community colleges, and I would guess of ROTC, since you graduated from a ROTC program in 1986. You're an accomplished and decorated Medical Service Corps officer. She's also a runner. She does 5Ks to help raise money for different organizations. She's a prospective politician in her hometown. Do they know that yet? I have just announced it. And you're an outstanding selection for this year's Deborah Sampson Award. With your selection, the Mass Department of Veterans Services has acknowledged and demonstrated confidence in your ability to serve, and as a woman veteran from the state, and also a confidence in your ability to help us move forward with future goals and missions of the Women's Veteran Network in the state. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present to you our special woman veteran for 2014, Colonel Julie Hall.
Thank you. I'm going to try to get this in the right place. I do have a very loud voice. I am definitely a Bostonian woman. Before I start, I just want to salute you. Thank you, Captain Majors, for that tremendous introduction. First, let me say what a great honor it is to be recognized for my accomplishments while on active duty, now as a veteran, and for my continued service to the community and this great Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'd like to thank the Massachusetts Secretary of Veteran Services, Coleman Nate, thank you, for sponsoring this wonderful honor, and in particular to Viviana Marcotte and all of your staff for the Women's Veterans Network, because you do so much to ensure that women veterans have the opportunity to meet and share experiences, which is very important, as we meet across all across the state of Massachusetts. And I've been to many events, so thank you. I'd like to thank the people that took the time out of their various activities. State Representative for the 14th Bristol District, and my friend, Betty Poirier. Veteran Service Officer for the City of Attleboro, Lieutenant Colonel Carl Bradshaw. Apparently, my insatiable need to continue to be involved and to continue to serve impressed them somehow, enough to take their valuable time and create an award-worthy submission. So thank you very much for that. Thank you to all the officials from the Massachusetts State House that have taken time out of the day to share this special event. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my friend, State Representative for the 4th Bristol District, Steve Howitt, for also being here to share this amazing day. Thank you. To my friends and my fellow veterans who are here today, your presence means so much to me. I'd like to take the time, if you would, to recognize one veteran in particular. Her name is Josephine Miller. Josephine is a 91-year-old World War II United States Marine Corps Sergeant and a very dear friend of mine. I would like you just to take a moment, please, to honor Josephine. There's one fear when you introduce Josephine. She just then takes the show, just completely goes. She's such a superstar. Such a superstar. Josephine, it's truly because of courageous women like Josephine that I'm able to even stand here so proudly in this uniform. I want to make a shout out to all of those who shared this award via Facebook, all my military friends and co-workers who sent messages from all over the world about how proud they were, because as it was on active duty and continues today, a success for one is shared success for all of us. I have the most absolutely supportive family, not just my immediate family, but my aunts, my uncles, and my cousins. My sisters and my brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, and my brothers are here along with my nephew Jackson today. Throughout my career, my family has made sure that no matter where I was or what was going on, that at least one member of my family made it to wherever I was to share whatever milestone there was in my career. They have always kept me or made me feel like I was some kind of a big deal. But when I needed it, they were quick to remind me nobody in this family was snapping to my orders. They kept me grounded, and I love them very much. I also have to say something about my husband, Bill. Boy, he puts up with a lot. Could you imagine being married to an Air Force colonel? That's a tough gig. In the program, I mentioned about my assignment to Korea. I was a very junior officer, newly transitioned from the enlisted officer corps to enlisted to officer. Here I was, this new lieutenant, feeling empowered and strong in a country so far from home. It was an exciting experience to get to experience a new culture. The military base was in transition. They were wanting to change the culture of the base in the anticipation of families arriving. More and more women were being assigned to this base for the first time. This was a base that had been created, and it perpetuated those activities favorable to men. I call it situational sexism. There is so much I would like to say about the things that I saw and the things that were allowed and even encouraged by our mostly male military leaders at the time. Now, this was back in the 70s, early 80s. What I experienced was a culture where women were not independent and made vulnerable and dependent, and even worse in some circumstances. I was told by a female Korean employee that women who married were owned like property in this society. On this base, it was blatant bad behavior, and it was permeated between every aspect of our operations. The clinic where I was the only female medical operations officer, as the American men would visit with their newly acquired Korean wives, the tension and the confusion, and yes, the disgust, was felt by me and all the other women throughout the unit. It was very uncomfortable to have to see these women being completely dependent on their husbands, and not just because of their language barrier, but because that's how they were raised. The American military women had worked hard to get to freedom and opportunities we had. We weren't quite sure what we should do. After all, we were guests in this country. I just could not tolerate this double standard. I would not tolerate it. I made up my mind that I would do everything that I could do to ensure these women, now part of my military family, were treated with the same respect, dignity, and independence I want for myself and for the other women. I didn't ask for anybody's permission. I just did it because it was the right thing to do. To improve the language barrier, I had all the patient appointments forms translated into their native language called Hangul. What I observed was the clinician would speak to the husband about the wife's medical concern, barely even paying attention to the wife, as if she were a child. I provided female interpreters that could accompany these Korean women to their appointments so they could go on to the doctor's office privately without their husbands in tow, which had been the customary practice. These women were adults, and in my clinic, they were going to be treated like adults. Although I didn't realize it at the time, what I had done had resonated through not only the clinic, but throughout the entire base. This was a big deal for other women on this base dealing in their own squadrons with similar experience of situational sexism. I got my first taste of how risky it was to step out and challenge the status quo that had permeated this base since our American forces arrived during the Korean conflict. This was my way of saying, no, this will not be tolerated, not on my watch and not in my clinic. It was my way of feeling empowered to make good things happen for women. The outcome of my actions, while I left the base with headquarter level recognition, a meritorious service medal, and a reputation as a positive force for change that followed me throughout my career. I vowed for the rest of my career that I would stand up, sometimes by just quietly being a role model, and sometimes so loudly to yell, "Forward!" Because being silent and in our place is not how we open doors for others. I am a military woman. I have served my country proudly. As an agent of change, I always look to the future and I continue to welcome new challenges and opportunities to bring positive change, not just for women, but for all veterans, wherever and however I can. Thank you for allowing me to be your outstanding women veteran for this great Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you, Colonel Hall, for all your service. And at this time, I just wanted to go ahead and present to you formally the Deborah Sampson Award.
I just wanted to recognize before the close of our program that we're joined by my commanding officer, Secretary John Polanowitz, Secretary of Health and Human Services, himself, former Captain Polanowitz, United States Army, and a West Point grad. Thank you very much, Secretary, for being here.
It's been a very busy year at the Women Veterans Network, with over 535 direct cases over this past year. We've had the honor of meeting hundreds of women veterans and providers across the state as we're eagerly developing new ideas on how to better serve our women veterans in the Commonwealth. This year's 6th Annual Women Veterans Conference was held at Nichols College, and it brought in over 350 women veterans and over 65 exhibitors. The day included workshops on some of the top issues that our women veterans are facing today, and it also included Sergeant Maria Kalinowski, who is a published author, Iraq War veteran, and she's also featured in the documentary Service When Women Come Marching Home. And she delivered a powerful story about her time in Iraq and her journey to healing through the creative arts. Also included throughout the day was a wellness room where practitioners donated their time to provide massage and acupuncture, as well as several door prizes, and it was truly an amazing day. This year's conference will be held at UMass Lowell on June 13th, so I definitely recommend saving the date for that. And we're just really grateful to not only the Department of Veteran Services and all our staff there at the department for all their help, but also to the Women Veterans Network and the active military forces that support us. Again, I just wanted to thank all the ladies on the steering committee. I could truly not do this without your help. I apologize. We do have a few citations that we would like to deliver to Colonel Hall.
We would like to present a citation from the House of Representatives, Committee Affairs. Thank you very, very much for your service. God bless. And we'll see you soon, I'm sure. All right. Thank you.
For being the recipient of the 2014 Women's Veterans Network Deborah Sampson Award, in appreciation for all that you have given and continue to give to our country, its citizens, and especially our veterans. And this is signed by the Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo, and her favorite state representative, Betty Poirier. Congratulations, Julia.
This concludes the formal portion of our ceremony, and I just wanted to invite everybody to Nurses Hall for some refreshments and snacks, and to veterans everywhere, and most importantly, those who support us. Thank you for your service to our nation and our Commonwealth. Thank you all for being here. This now concludes our ceremony. Have a wonderful day.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, and there's never a boast or brag. Good old acquaintance, be you forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag.